welcome or welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's officially October, which means that I want to do a monthly reset with you guys, but journal girl edition. So I have a couple things that I want to do with you guys in today's video. The main thing being how I journal when it's the start of a new month. So I'm going to show you guys what I kind of do to prep for a month in my journal as well as in my Muji planner. I think I'm going to start off the video by showing you guys how I do my monthly intro page in my writing journal. I'll also kind of skim through what I do to wrap up the previous month, but I mostly want to focus on everything that I'm going to be setting in my journal for the month of October. So let's go over to my desk and get into that. I'm actually going to start off with my Muji planner just because this is going to be really quick and easy, so I thought I would get it out of the way at the beginning of today's video. It's pretty self-explanatory. This is the Muji free schedule notes, so it has the monthly calendar spreads in the beginning and then weekly spreads afterwards. So of course, since it's the beginning of the month, I'm going to go ahead and fill out my monthly calendar with all of my important events, and then I'm going to grab some planner stickers. These are from Clever Fox planners, and I just use a few of these to decorate the page. For the most part, I like keeping everything in this planner really simplistic and minimalistic. I don't like a lot of clutter with stickers and things like that like I typically do, just because it's something that I'm opening on a daily basis. I want it to be as simple as possible so I can go ahead and add whatever other events or occasions come up throughout the month. I love adding little sparkle doodles whenever I journal or write in my notebook, so I'm doing that here, and this is what the final little calendar page looked like. I definitely come back to this calendar throughout the month to add more events as they come up, but for the most part that's that. And then I want to quickly show you guys my weekly spreads and what they look like. Of course, I did have to blur it out just because it had a lot of personal information, but on the right side here I like to fill out basically whatever I feel like writing about for the week. So for example, here I did my October TBR, which I'm just crossing off some books from, but for the most part that is what those spreads in my Muji planner looks like. As I mentioned, really simple, but I just wanted to show you guys how I set that up at the beginning of the month. We can now move on to my journal spreads, which is definitely the most exciting part of today's video. So I'm grabbing all my supplies here and my writing journal so we can begin a new page. I personally need to either play music or watch YouTube videos while I journal, so I definitely have some videos playing in the background while I do this. But whenever I do any spreads in my writing journal, I like to mark off a little border just because I feel like it makes it look cleaner when my writing isn't up until the top of the page, if that makes sense. So I'm quickly doing that. I like to keep about 5 dots as the border size, and I'm grabbing all of my magazine letter cutouts, which I'm sifting through to pick out the title, which is going to say October. I decided just to write OCT because doing the entire word of October would probably take me forever. One of you guys actually suggested in a previous video that the magazine letter cutouts that I do can be organized in a bead sorting box or like jewelry organizer box, like the acrylic ones with all the different compartments. So thank you so much for suggesting that. I definitely am going to try that out in one of my future videos. But anyways, for these titles, I also like to add the month number and the year as well at the top there using letter stickers. I just like the contrast between the magazine letter cutouts and letter stickers. And then I'm also including the playlist title with letter stickers as well. And then of course adding a lot of little deco stickers. Particularly like using mini stickers because I feel like they look really cute surrounding the text title. And I do also like doing a monthly color theme in my writing journal. So of course for October I went with this little spooky purple scheme, and then what I'll do is in any spreads following also follow the purple color scheme with the text and the stickers as well. On the right side of my intro pages here, I like to write about what I did on the first weekend of the month, so I'm just sticking in a little title here and now it's ready to actually be written in. So in a second we'll actually fast forward to the next day where I got cozy in bed with this journal and a coffee and actually wrote out these pages. So in the first section of the spread that we made, right under the monthly title, I like to write about all of the goals that I have for the upcoming month, as well as all of the events that I may be excited for. And then of course I'll also add whatever thoughts and feelings I may be having before the month begins. For some reason I decided to write down my TBR in this little section here, so it just kind of depends what I'm feeling that month and what I want to write about. Moving on to the playlist section, this of course is pretty self-explanatory, but for me personally, I actually like to go to my on repeat playlist on Spotify, which if you didn't know is basically a playlist of all the songs that you've been consistently repeating, and I like to pick out a few from there and write down of course the song title and the artist name. In previous spreads I actually have written little comments beside each song about what my thoughts are on it, but for this spread today I just decided to leave it with just the title. Like I mentioned, on the right side of these intro pages, I like to write about everything that I did on the first weekend of the month. So I printed out a couple photos on my portable printer, which also has sticker paper, which is so perfect for moments like this where I just want to quickly put in the photo. But anyways, I picked out 2 photos that I really loved, put them in there, and then of course I have to add a bit more stickers. So I'm picking out once again some purple themed ones that I think match the color scheme, and I'm going to stick that down. Moving back over to my desk now, I am quickly cutting up a little receipt, which was also from the same weekend, just to add a little bit more ephemera onto the page that's not a photo. I decided not to do the writing portion of this page on camera just because it doesn't necessarily have to do with the monthly reset, but this is what the final spread ended up looking like with all of my goals and everything, as well as my monthly October playlist. Let me know what you think of the concept and the layout. I definitely feel like the playlist section can be replaced with whatever media interests you, or just whatever general interest you have. It doesn't have to be a playlist, it can be movies, it can be books, etc. But let me go ahead and show you guys some of my previous monthly intro pages, just to give you more of an idea of what these pages tend to look like in my journal. Here is my September one. As you can see, I did a cute little fall orangey theme. I do like keeping my writing journal pretty consistent in terms of the layout, but I do really love how the color schemes help differentiate what month it is, if that makes sense. But that is basically how I do the intro pages in my writing journal. Now we can move on to how I do my monthly wrap-ups, both in my writing journal and my scrapbook journal. So here is what I did for September. Basically the layout of this spread is also pretty consistent. What I like to do is write all about what I did throughout the month on the left side, basically my favorite moments, and then on the right side I will write all about my favorite books that I read in the month, basically just my highlights of things that I did as well as media that I consumed. So sometimes I will write about a TV show or a movie that I watched, but for the most part I like to write about books that I read. As much as I love writing in my journal, I will say that doing my monthly recaps in my scrapbook journal is my favorite thing to do by far. So here's what I did for September. In comparison to my writing journal, these spreads are definitely not consistent necessarily, since it's a collage of all of my favorite photos, music, books, and media throughout the month. I will say that the 2 elements that are consistent is the Receiptify playlist that you see on the left side there, and sometimes I will throw throw in a little library card printable where I write down all of the books that I read in a month, but for the most part I like these pages to be a little summary of photos and images that remind me of what happened during the month, if that makes sense. I will link my flip through in the description if you guys are curious to see these in more detail, but I just wanted to give you a glimpse of how I wrap up the month as well as how I reset it. I didn't do an outro for this video, so thank you guys so much for watching, and I will go ahead and see you in my next one.